Hello, welcome to Slice of Anecdote, your safe space for unfiltered experiences. I am your host. My name is Harry. Welcome to Slice of Anecdote. Today's guest, we have Max. This lovely young lad is from Wales, UK. He is an accomplished in plant knowledge with a degree in zoology, with an obsession to K-pop and K-pop dancing. He's currently working towards being a nurse. Welcome to the pod, Max. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. That was really cute. Like, I love my life in a nutshell. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're
All very
welcome.
true. I'm trained to be a nurse, obsessed with K-pop, and I do
Hmm.
love plants. So you've got it all in a nutshell right there.
Pretty much. Who are you obsessed with right now with K-pop?
You know what? So Blackpink were always my gateway drug into, well, maybe
Same.
not drug, you know what I mean? Gateway group. um, into K-pop, and I've recently like rediscovered them. Not rediscovered them, but like I started listening to all their songs again. So I'm in the gym
Yeah.
like with like Kill This Love and How You Like That. Um,
Hmm.
Esper always killing it. Love Esper.
Hmm.
I've and then Twice are probably my ultimate girl group because they never fail.
Yeah.
They never fail.
Yeah. So you're not really into the boy bands at all.
No, no. I think I listened to BTS a few times, and then Hypen maybe a little bit, but no, I love my girlies. My girlies is where my heart's
Hmm.
at.
They do sound really good. They do sound really good. Honestly, did you get into the singles of all the Blackpink's individual albums? Like Lisa.
Ooh, so the singles. So you mean like the four original ones, or like any of them?
Well, they all made their own albums, right?
Well, when they were in Blackpink, well, they're still in Blackpink,
Correct
but
me.
they each that I will. They each had a solo. So like that was like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they were still a part of the management company. So like YG released it. So those were like the original solos. Now they've got bloody loads. So I probably don't know them all, which is probably a bad fan. But I know the big ones, obviously. But I like most
Hmm.
of them. I didn't. Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna get hated for this. I didn't love Jisoo's, but love the
Really?
rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, I
Okay.
love Jesus's voice, it's great.
Look at this white boy educating me on
Oh my god, I
K-pop.
choked on my tea.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I do have a few questions for you. So since this pod is a little bit about, life experiences, and I just feel like we started off our friendship in a really interesting way. Maybe not interesting, but it was just like really natural. And, I think you're definitely one of my very first friend in the UK.
No.
Do you kind of remember moments that our friendship kind of flourished?
Oh. Um,
Or do you have like a core memory of us? Whichever one's easier for you.
let me think. Um, well, I think we met in, like, a funny time in my life 'cause, you know, our relationship was um, so I remember when we first met, we went to I think we were in, like, a coffee shop or something, and obviously we met on Grindr 'cause where do all gays meet?
Mhm.
And, um, I was like, "Oh, yeah, you know, my boyfriend," and you were like, "What? You got a boyfriend?" And I was like, "Yeah, I might have forgot that." And then you kind of just, like, accepted it, and then I remember we just, like I think we walked, like I just think sat outside a church for a bit, which is, like, don't know what gays doing outside a church. Um, but yeah, we had, like, a nice chat, and we talked about dancing, and I think you said you did some dancing way back when. Um, and then,
Like
yeah, I
barely any.
guess I know. And then we went to, like, a K-pop night together, which was cute.
Hmm.
And then I think, you know, when I moved back to London, you were there, like, helping me with my NHS journey, um, and we did some cute stuff together. But what about you? What would you say is your, like, core memory?
I think those were the core memories for sure. Going to K-pop night. There's like a fun story about K-pop night. I don't know if you want to share that, but
Oh my god. No.
it's more about you than about me. But yeah, I think one of the very first thing that I was like a wow factor for you was how much you stood up for what you believe in. I think in the context of diversity, inclusiveness, and as well as calling people out on things that aren't necessarily tick with you. You know what I mean? You would just call them out. And I was like, wow, this person, I haven't really met someone like that, especially with someone with your background and who is like, a lot of people would be very passive about it. And you would be the type that would call out on people, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that obviously with the Black Lives Matter movement, I think a
Mhm.
lot of white people were like, "Huh, we need to educate ourselves." So then I read like I feel like I read all the books, and I remember I was reading "Why I No Longer Talk to White People About Race." I was reading that book on the
Yeah.
tube, and the amount of like black people who just like came up to me and said, "Oh my god, like that's such a good book." I'm like, "Oh, it's so nice to see you reading that." And I was like, it almost like you felt like you were virtue signaling because I was reading it on the tube, and I was like, "What are you doing?" But people were coming up to me, and I was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, people are noticing, even like small actions like reading the book. Um, and I think, living in London where I was at the time, um, I had black friends, I had people who were from different ethnicities. And then when you come back to small town Wales, which I'm where I'm from, is a white town, baby. So I think that I kind of took those learnings from all that kind of education that I did. When I spotted things that didn't sit well with me, I think I'd just call them out. You still there?
Are you okay? I
Hello,
think we died. Are we back?
Harry.
Is it working?
Oh, it's my internet for sure.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, if you look
That's
up my
okay.
name, it says Max Weak Network.
Oh, I was like, oh no, what's happening? We lost him.
I know. I was just talking to myself.
Your book that you were reading on the
Oh,
tube.
did you not hear anything else?
I heard like the first quarter of it, maybe.
Okay. Um, so what I was basically saying was I was reading Why I No Longer Talk to White People About Race on the tube, and
Hmm.
the amount of people who just like came up to me and said, "Oh, that's a really good book. Like, so nice to see you reading that. Like, what do you think of the book?" and things like that, which I've never had before. I've never like, I've read on the tube obviously multiple times, and no one has ever come up to me and like spoke to me about a book. So I think it was obviously one of those books that obviously sparked conversation. Was very appropriate for the times because obviously all of the Black Lives Matter movement and a lot of that come
Hmm.
into you know the front of people's minds. Um, and even the
Right.
job I was doing at the time, a part of my job was to get people who were underrepresented. So my job, yeah, I should probably explain. My job was like in woodlands, which is traditionally seen as a kind of white activity. Seen as like not cool for other people to do. So part of my job was to actually, along with my colleague who is amazing, was to get people who are underrepresented in the environmental sector into nature and see how amazing nature is for everyone. It's not just for white people. So I think I was kind of like very involved in it from all the sides, rather like the social background, but also it was even during my job. So I think when I came back to my hometown, which is very white, it's a white town, baby. I would speak to my family about these things, and when I noticed things from my friends or from my family that was I didn't think was appropriate, like you said, I would call them
Yeah.
out. But if your own family can't call you out, then who can?
Yeah, I think that's really brave just from like your perspective. And, it takes an extra step of bravery to call someone out on these things. And we definitely need more people like you, right, in the world.
Oh,
So thank you for that.
thank you. No, thank you.
Um, so I do want to talk a little bit more about dating, if that's okay,
Yeah.
because we are on a fun dating, situation ever since
Mm.
I've met you. Like you've kind of mentioned, like when I first met you, I was just like hanging out, dating people, and then you mentioned that you had a boyfriend. So I just have, some questions if
Oh
you want
God.
to share.
Go on.
Um, so how do you like, what is your current take on dating apps right now? Like, let's just say Grinder versus Tinder versus I don't know, Hinge?
Okay, well, Grinder and Tinder are one and the same for me. There's no difference. I feel like, apart from that,
Mm.
you can't set nudes on Tinder. I feel like the guys on there, if you go on Grinder, you'll see the same guys on Tinder. Hinge, I think, is supposed to be a bit more like looking for long-term relationships, but then I just think guys are guys. I feel like I'm being a bit cynical with that. Um, but men are men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I think you would. I think Hinge is supposed to be the one that you look for more long-term things on. But yeah, I use all the apps, so I got experience.
Every single one of them.
It seems like it.
No, actually, for me, I think Tinder is a little bit more serious in a way, and then Hinge would
Mm,
be kind of on the same level for me. But I think, because Hinge, you're able to have more filters, and then
mm,
Tinder, you can have certain filters, without paying, and then Grinder is just definitely more for the
yeah.
regular fun hookup stuff. Yeah, we're on all of it. So, do you have a age range within your preference?
Oh my God! Don't call me out like this. Um,
Okay, we can skip.
no, no, it's fine. So I'd never date. Never say you can't say never, but I think I'll actually go on there now. Fuck it. Let me have a look. So I'll go on Tinder. And my age
Hmm.
range, I got 25 to 55. So 55 is like like a
Damn.
limit. Um,
Uh-huh.
but like, I don't think it'd ever work with someone who's 55. Um, just because we are so different. But I mean, like, who doesn't love like a Brad Pitt and a George Clooney? I'm sorry. I can appreciate men of that nature. So
Oh
I
my
feel
God.
like I feel like I'll peak in my life when I'm like 50 and all the guys that age want me and they all look like Brad Pitt and George Clooney. I feel like
Well,
I'll peak in my life then.
well, you hear it from here. Max is fucking gorgeous.
You watch, I'll be
Yeah.
saggy and old and horrible. So
Well, I can't say when you're older, but right now you look pretty great.
thanks, babes. You too.
Okay, so I have other questions. I think like lately I've just been in like, back into the dating game a little bit, and I've just been
Oh.
noticing a few things and I just want to get your opinion
Mm,
on it. So, when you see a group picture as like
mm.
your on your Tinder on the Tinder profile, like what is your mind thinking?
Oh,
What are you
I
what's going
know.
on?
Yeah. Oh my god. But when it's a group photo,
Uh-huh.
there's always like some hotties in there, like like the gorgeous friend, and the person who it is not that person. If that's a
Okay.
roundabout way of saying what I'm saying.
Okay, I feel sometimes it's probably better not to have group pictures, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's
As
very
your
like
first photo, no way.
yeah, because sometimes it's just a little bit because you don't know what the person is preferred like within your friend group, right? Like
Yeah,
one person could be preferred to friend one person could be preferred to friend, I don't know, three, but like if
yeah,
someone was thinking you're the attractive one, fantastic. But then like it's kind of once you like click to the next picture and it's
I
a
know.
different picture than who you're expecting, it's kind of like, oh, yeah,
I
okay,
know. And
maybe it's
on my Hinge, I've got a photo of me and my dad and my sister, which is
that's
a really
fine,
nice
that's
photo.
fine.
It's a really nice photo of me. But then I've
Yeah.
also got on my Hinge, like that setting which will like continuously test your best photo, so like switch all your photos around. I'm like, maybe they've put that photo as my first, and people are saying no to my dad when it's actually me. So I don't know if I'm shooting
Okay,
myself in the foot with that one, but.
your age would give it away.
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm like, some guys out there are stupid and wouldn't look at that. So,
Okay, okay,
because I think first
okay.
impressions are important.
Yeah, fair enough. I totally agree with you. So yeah, we're agreed. I would say group pictures, try to avoid it. At least don't put it in the first picture.
Yeah, for sure. I would say don't. I'd say not put it in at all. I'd say do have a group photo because it shows that at least we've got
You have
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
You have a
Um,
social life.
which red flag if they don't. But not
Mm.
the first photo. Just
What about
somewhere
like family
later on.
members and or like people who like hide their friends' faces?
I think that's a bit weird. Like, I don't really care about your friends. Um, in
Okay,
Tinder, if you're hiding your friend's face, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't care about your friend's face. I'm looking at you.
right,
So
right.
I don't
And then
know.
family photos are great.
Yeah, I think family photos are okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
cute.
okay.
Family man, love it.
Mm, okay. So when you swipe and you get a match,
Mm,
right? You get that notification match like right away.
yeah,
Because obviously that person would have swiped on you first, and then if you would to swipe on them, you would get the notification, right?
yeah.
So etiquette here, would you just continue swiping or would you say something?
Well, my bio on Tinder is something like, "I'll give you 10 points if you message me." Um,
Oh, you
so
have one of
I
those.
So I know, but I no, no, excuse me. So I feel like if I match someone, I have to stick to my bio. So I'll always message them. I'll always say like hello or hi or like I think when you match on Tinder, it gives you like the option of those four emojis, and I always just put the wave.
Yeah.
So otherwise I'm just a hypocrite. But then I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't think
I,
guys
I
do that
personally
though. They don't
think
have the
I
etiquette.
personally think if you get the notification that you are a match, the person who
Yeah,
gets it should send the message,
100%.
and not just like wait for the other person to do it. Because I don't know, it's just like it's right there. Just at least send like the
Yeah,
little emoji, and it makes it at least for me it's like effort, right?
yeah.
Effort is sexy.
It's so true. But this is why I feel like Hinge is different. Because I feel like on
Mm,
Hinge, you send them the like, you see who's liked you, and then if they sent like a message with the like saying, I don't know, how's your day going? Or that, oh my god, that's a really cute photo, then they've started the conversation already. Whereas on Tinder, you are just swiping and you can just swipe, and like you say, people do just kind of swipe and then carry on swiping. And I'm like, what's the point? You know?
yeah. So on Hinge, you have the option to comment on a photo or comment on one of their speech bubbles, right? Like saying
Mm,
whatever they like to say.
yeah.
Do you tend to reply a little bit more based on them replying on your photos or them making an effort to reply on whatever you have on your profile?
Hmm. Well, I think if someone just likes a photo on your account on
Mm,
Hinge, I don't unless then I just go straight to look at their account. Whereas if they reply to one of my bubbles and they've like offered some insight, because one of mine is two truths and a lie. So if they've like tried to guess the lie or something, then I'm a bit more interested like immediately because they've spent the time actually writing a message, which is much faster than just clicking like on a photo. And I before I was using this continuously top photo thing, it would always be my first photo that got the like, and I was like, these guys are not scrolling through the profile. They are not going to like the second or third photo. So like, I know there was no effort involved.
mm. Yeah.
What about you?
And I think when there is more effort involved, when someone is, you know, you can like the photo, but if you say something, it's a little bit
Mm,
better than if you just simply send a like.
yeah,
Um, just go on my Instagram, give me a like there,
effort is sexy. We be saying it.
Period. Okay. So what green flags do you look for?
Ooh, green flags. How about you go first, and then I'll go next.
Green flags is probably someone who actually puts in effort into the profile. And sometimes on Hinge, you get prompts. And then there's just some profiles, just like one word answers, It's like
Mm,
together we could eat. Um,
yeah,
I was like, okay, um, more effort, please. Or, you just kind of like move on. That is definitely a green flag. If you put a little bit more effort into your profile, it just kind of shows that you're looking a little bit more seriously, or you kind of are able to, you kind of like know what that person might want, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Those are definitely one of them, and they have, like, a variety of different types of photos, especially if a special photo of, like, holidays, travel, it doesn't happen every day.
Mm.
A selfie mirror photo is fine, fitness photo is fine. Some thirst traps are great, but not all the time, and
Mhm.
I like to see a little bit more variety, so
Yeah.
that's
I
that's
think
that's my
that
green flags.
I'd say like a red flag, like you said, would be if all
Mm,
of their photos is like a topless photo or them in speedos or them on the beach, like every single photo. Like we all love a thirst trap, but I mean like, we don't live in speedos and underwear, so um yeah, I
correct.
like I like seeing variety. I like seeing like nice shots of their face, like not covered behind like sunglasses or wearing hats. Because I was on Hinge, I think yesterday, and there was one guy on there who had a hat in all his photos, and I was like, "What are you hiding?" I'm like, "What is beneath that hat? I need to know." Um, like, what is under there? Like, has he got like a little tuft of hair? Is he bald? We don't know. No one knows.
Yeah,
So
I
I'd say
I hate
that
variety, so,
yeah, need a variety. I hate it when like every photo's got some pair of sunglasses in as well. Like, show me your eyes. What are
like,
you
you can
hiding
you
there?
can you can yeah, you can wear hats and sunglasses in, like, 1 or 2 photos, but, like, give us
Yeah,
good face, good body, good
always.
outfits, you know what I mean?
What other
Yeah.
ones would I say? I'd say if like they're like you said, the profile is not like really filled out. Because on Hinge you can you can like hide a lot of things on the profile. Um, so I don't like it when they've hidden everything. Like I'm not that I really care about if they've got kids and stuff, and like if they want kids, but there's stuff like that on Hinge that you can like hide and not show and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like it when they got photos of like scenery, like a photo of their house or like
I always think that's
a
just
photo of their
spam.
car. Yeah, a photo of their car. Like I don't really care what they drive. Um,
What
to be
about a
honest.
photo with them with their car?
Yeah, but then like why? Like, I
Sure.
don't know. I'd never take a photo of my car. I don't know. I don't know. Each to their own, isn't it? Each to their own. Maybe some people would love that.
Mm.
Major red flag for me is if they're holding up one of those fish. People take photo when they go fishing and like they're holding a fish. Oh my god.
Hold on,
I mean,
hold on. For context, Max is vegan.
true. But like, I feel like that's icky anyway. Like the amount of times you see on social media, like even girls talking about guys on their Tinder like holding up a fish. Like, who wants to see that? Certainly not me. But yes, I am a vegan, so maybe I'm biased on that.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't really bother me to that extent, but I wouldn't call it
Mm,
a red flag. I would just call it a flag.
no, it's a red flag for me,
All right, that's good.
unfortunately.
Okay, I did come across on Grindr some of these profiles have Google style review on their profile
Oh my
pictures.
god.
How do we feel about this?
What do you mean Google style reviews on their profile? Like people like
I mean,
reviewing their meet with them?
I don't know if they're real, and they are basically screenshots of conversations of like, oh my gosh, how good their night was. I'm not gonna explain in detail,
Mm,
but like a few of those screenshots in like one profile picture and just basically advertising how great their XYZ is, right? So
mm.
how do we feel about this? I've never seen that before until I've moved to the UK. So maybe this is a
I
new
was gonna
thing.
say I have seen that. Um, Although I don't really pay attention to it because I feel like someone else's review is not my review, you know?
Mm,
Like people could meet someone and have the best time ever, but I could meet with them and think they're an absolute weirdo. Um,
sure.
but I think it depends what sort of person you are, really. Like I think if you're like a hedonist and you just love pleasure and all of that, and someone's main profile picture is, oh my god, he gave me the best night of my life, blah 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 blah. Then I don't know, maybe you would love that. Personally, I don't. But each to their own. Everyone has a different, everyone cookie. I don't know what, but I think it's a little bit weird. And if that's what you're leading with,
I guess
I think
that's what
this,
you're gonna get, right?
yeah, red flag. I think, but I don't know.
Red flag for
Maybe
you.
maybe it works. I mean, they clearly have it on their profile, so the reviews are coming in.
Yeah. Reviews are coming in.
Literally.
Oh my gosh. I just found it really funny. Oh, also, anyone who's listening, whoever has funny profile, like grinder profiles that they've ever come across, please do share it. Maybe we can
Mm.
discuss on this pod and talk about that. I want to ask you about hookup etiquette.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, I didn't know this was maybe it was just getting on my nerves lately, but how do you like what is your hookup etiquette that when you decide to meet up with somebody, let's say being on time?
Mm, I'm always on time. And I feel like with a hookup, that because I'm assuming you probably don't know them very well, I would say always on time, or if you're not on time, you got a message, because
Yeah.
otherwise people are just going to think they're getting stood up, you know?
Do you have like a time frame of how much time you're gonna wait for that person?
Well, I feel like I'm scratching a thought. Hang on, one sec. Let me think. I think I went on a date once, and I was
Yeah.
waiting like half an hour, and I was like, "What the actual hell is going on?" And
And
I
he
think I
didn't
almost
reply.
no, wait, I think I almost left, and then I think then he rocked up, but I think half an hour would be my limit because you can't wait around all day for someone, and especially if they have a
Mhm.
message within half an hour, then yeah, I'd be goners, you know. No, I remember it. I remember the story. Meeting up on this beach for like a walk. And I parked up and paid for parking already. So I was literally like parked up and I paid for like 2 hours. And
Mhm.
then I think it got like we were both supposed to be there, let's say at 1 o'clock, and I was there at 1 o'clock. And I think
Yeah.
he rocked up at like half one. And then we had the date, and I was a bit like, well, my parking's gonna finish at like 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to go. Um, and then it was a bit awkward then because we clearly had less of a date because, you know, I had already paid for parking and I had to kind of, I don't know, honor that. But I also thought I was being a bit salty as well. So I was like, you don't get more of my time because I've already wasted half an hour to sit in the car for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So it wasn't a good date though, or?
Yeah, it was good, I suppose. But don't speak to him anymore, so that's great.
Okay, moving on. The what about condoms, lubes, and and equipments and stuff?
Ooh.
Who should bring what?
Um, well, uncharted territory for me because I haven't done that shit in a while. Um,
Are you a
but I,
virgin?
huh?
Recycled virgin?
Something like that. I may as well be celibate
Oh.
now. But I would assume if you're doing all the chat, um, and you know what the bareback bottoms are like in this country, um, if you've planned to use condoms and lube and obviously lube, but if you've planned to use condoms, um, if I was topping, I would take it anyway. I would take my condom. You know?
Yeah. I think I heard it from someone that it is top slash bottom etiquette that whoever is not host wait, it's either someone is hosting who should be
Mm.
providing, or someone who is topping is usually the one should always provide.
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I think if you're hosting, then you should provide.
But what if
That
you're
that sits well with
bottoming
me.
and hosting?
If you're bottoming and hosting, Um, well, if you're a bottom, I'm assuming you've got lube anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. Um,
Mhm.
although I feel like no one uses condoms nowadays, so like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like everyone
S-
is bareback at the moment. Not me, obviously,
Speak
because I'm clean.
for
I'm
yourself.
clean. Oh my god, you know what I meant. Everyone, for fuck's sake. Oh my god, let me compose myself. Fuck's sake.
See, this is
Um,
fun.
no, everyone I speak to, I feel like never mention condoms. I feel like they all want it beer back. So I don't know. I haven't spoke to anyone recently who has wanted condoms. Um, so I don't know, but I don't know if it's because I'm in a small town and I don't know, it's a bit more fun. I'm not sure, but yeah, I would say that I still think the bottom should provide if they were hosting as well. But if I was the top, I would take condoms as well. So I don't know. I feel like the
Yeah.
jury's out on that one.
For me, I usually try to bring stuff.
Yeah.
regardless, because in my experience, I'm I'm very picky on the lube.
Oh,
So
really?
when there is lube that
Oh,
I'm not a fan of, you know what I mean? Like I'm just not a fan of that type of lube that they just buy from a maybe a pound. What do you guys call it? A pound shop?
Poundland or Pound Shop.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
Yeah.
I need your review then. What is the good lube? We need to know this. Tell the viewers, tell the listeners.
Oh my gosh. I just usually go to sex shops and they usually have better lubes than like a grocery store. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm
Mm,
aiming for. So
okay.
I I kind of like squid. They have this hybrid
Squid.
one. I think it's either squid or I think it's called squid. Or any type of I'm good with like water-based slash silicone as well. I do prefer silicone, but I do need a lot.
Ooh, oh my
Ooh,
god.
okay.
Yeah, I actually haven't used lube for ages. Um,
Do you go in
but
dry?
no, like I said, I'm new born again virgin, so like I haven't used lube
Okay.
for ages. I
Okay.
think I use baby oil a bit though.
Baby
Like
oil, that shit
I
is
know
that shit brings like friction and heat.
I don't know, but that's why I'm thinking. I'm thinking baby oil. But then I remember saying this to one of my friends, and she was like, because she, she's a gal, and she was like, "What the hell?" She was like, "No, that'll give you like bad pH in your vagina." So I was like, "Okay, maybe I shouldn't
Yeah,
be
don't
using
do
baby oil."
that. Don't
Okay,
do that.
top advice.
Do not do that. Hey, for whoever is listening, like if that's your preference, you do you. But
You
that
do
is
you, boo.
not going in my body. That is not going in my body. What about showering or not showering before your meetup slash hookup?
Oh my god, I met someone once.
Mhm.
In London, of course. Um, and I think he was like, "Don't shower before you come," and I was like, "What the fuck?" But I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm always open to trying stuff," so I was like, "Okay." And I went, and I think it was one of the worst meetups I think I've ever done in my life.
Oh
The man was
no.
sat. The man was sat there. Oh my god! It's making me shudder thinking about it. He got a wet wipe out,
What?
and he wet wiped his butt, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Ugh, so gross.
Wait,
And the smell in this room was like gag worthy. It was disgusting. He had like two huskies running around. It was like I was gagging. And then obviously I was really turned off, and I was like, I don't think this is gonna. And he was sat on Grinder the whole time. Yeah, there was a lot
what?
going on. There was a lot going on. So I had to say, I need to leave. I was like, I need to get out of here. Um, and lo and behold, I did. I scurried right out of there, and I was like, you need to be more careful. I was like,
Okay, so
people who
you
say don't shower are,
yeah.
ones to watch out for.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I understand where people come from. Some people get turned on with smells. I've actually tried not showering, and my ex-boyfriend is like, "You don't smell after the gym. Like, what is wrong with you?"
Asian vibes.
So, yeah, thank you. I'll thank you for these jeans. It's just, showering is more clean, and I
Yeah.
prefer that. Some people that
I
do shower.
think there's something hot about sweat. Like, I don't know what it
Mm,
is, but like there's something hot about a man or sweaty. Like we all love that. Do you mean a bit like
yeah.
in the sauna getting hot? But like,
Mhm.
I mean, walking in and the guy is wet wiping. No, thank you. That is
Where was he
definitely
wiping?
where was he? Where was he? Where do you think? Oh my
I
god,
don't know. You tell me, please.
his butt. It was like, oh yeah, I can't believe I've just remembered that, and I've just shared that. That is, yeah, it was gross.
Wait,
It was
like, hold
gross.
on, hold on, like, hold on. Set me the scene here. You walked in and he just took out a wet wipe and started wiping his butt.
Yeah, pretty. I buzzed in. He let me in. There was two massive huskies running around, so you can imagine what this place
Uh-huh.
smelled like. Um, um, and then he went to like this. I don't know. It was a few years ago. I think he went onto this like chair and he like put his legs up and he got a wet wipe out and like wiped his butt. And I was like, I am so turned off right now. Um, and then
Oh
he
my
sat there
God.
with his legs up on Grinder.
What the fuck?
Yeah, memorable, but for the wrong reasons.
Hold on, my brain is still like computing.
I know. I know. And he
Oh
told me
my
not to
gosh.
shower. So all of that together, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a Mac smell?
A Max smell? Like what? Like an aftershave I
Yeah.
wear?
No, like I'm talking about, your
Um
natural body odor.
oh, I have no idea. I mean, ever since COVID, I've had like a constant blocked nose. So I can't smell fuck all.
Oh
um
no.
well, no, I can. That's a lie, but like, blocked nose vibes. I don't know. I don't know what I smell like. You'll have to like come and sniff me and tell me. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
One day. One
But
day.
yeah, one day. One day.
How
What do you
much
smell like then?
me, I don't have a smell apparently. Yeah, I don't have one. I just put
Okay.
on cologne or
Love
lotion,
that.
if that counts.
Yeah.
Um, how much personal care do you do before a hookup? Meaning like
Ooh.
trimming, brushing your teeth, or like doing your hair, etc.,
Well,
etc.
always brush your teeth. But then
Mm.
I remember when I was 18 and I went to the STI clinic, the lady told me, she was like, they're kind of like, you'll have sex and die. But she was like, she said, if you brush your teeth 2 hours before a hookup, then you're going to make all these micro tears in your mouth. And then the HIV is going to get in through your teeth. And I remember freaking out, being like, oh my God, I'm going to get HIV from brushing my teeth. Um,
Oh
I feel like
my
she,
God.
yeah, I feel like she
Hold
was
on.
trying to freak me out a little bit. Um,
Okay. So
but
it's
I
not
do brush my
true,
teeth.
right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
Can
But
we get a doctor here?
literally though. But I do brush my teeth because bad breath is such a turn off. I always
Mm.
shower, obv. Um, I would say I shave, but I mean I'm lasered, so I don't really need to.
Twink
Um,
life, twink
I
life.
know. Obviously I put deodorant on, a nice bit of smelly, bit of cologne. Um, I think that's kind of it, really. You know,
Mm, mm.
all the
I think we're
usuals, all
pretty
the usuals.
similar. Yeah, we're pretty similar. We're pretty similar.
Yeah,
Um,
gotta smell nice.
what about what about like how much time it takes for you to clean, meaning
Um,
douching?
Oh, well, honey, it's been a while. Um, so I don't know. I think it depends on the day and what I've eaten, really.
Yeah,
I think if I like plan it and I know I'm gonna be bottoming, then
yeah.
I'll eat like an ice cube for breakfast and an ice cube for lunch. So it doesn't
What?
take me that long. Um,
You're
but
already vegan. How much
I
preparation do you
know,
need?
I know, but I just freak out. Like I think my worst nightmare is, doing some painting, which is not my vibe. That's like my
You
worst
don't have a
nightmare.
shitty time?
No, I don't, and I never have, thank God. So touch
Okay,
wood.
okay. I mean I mean that is just where it goes, right? So
I feel
it
like you
happens,
were
it
probably clean as a
happens.
whistle, though. I reckon you just like squirt up there once. You're like, I'm done.
Me, no, no, no. I gotta prep too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, of
You eat a lot
course.
of fiber, in fairness. Like when you stayed with me, and I swear you ate like 2 bags of vegetables. I was like, what the hell? I was like, you want
I'm
some? I
so
was like, no.
sorry.
I was like, no, thank you.
What? I thought you liked vegetables because you were
I do,
vegan.
but like, honey, everything I eat has got fiber. I can't have too much.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
What about like when we're like actually hooking up? Like how long should a hookup be? Do you like a quickie? Do you like a longer session?
Mm,
Like what is the vibe
I
usually?
think, I think in my earlier days, I think I was like
Mm,
fast, quick and get out sort of thing because I was like, it was a
yeah.
bit awkward. I didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't really know the guy probably.
Hmm.
In my mature 28 years, I now prefer to have a bit longer and I actually get to know someone. Um, like I'm not really into like meeting up with someone and just going straight to sex. I think I'd rather like have a nice
Right.
chat with them, get some stuff, and then you get there and you're like, actually, this is not the vibe. I feel like you can't really judge a connection on text. I feel like you need to judge that in
Yeah.
person a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
But then I feel like guys
I
don't
think
want
I've
that. I feel like they want it fast, they want it fast and out. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the person. For me, I think I've just been the same now. I've been wanting to getting to know the person a little bit better before we do anything. I just like the straight in and go at it right away doesn't really work
Mm,
unless I'm not topping.
unless you're not topping. So unless you're bottoming, thanks for that.
Yeah. If I'm bottoming, then I don't need to get to know you. You can, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
I
god, I
just
am the complete opposite. If I'm bottoming, I have to know you.
really,
Like
really.
I actually
You
refuse to do that.
you
Refuse.
can stay up for somebody if you don't know them.
No, couldn't be me. I would literally I haven't bottomed in a long time because I
No,
simply
no,
just don't trust anyone.
what I'm saying, you can top somebody without knowing them.
Hmm, depends.
That's my issue. Is like if I don't know you, if I'm not like mentally stimulated enough from that person,
Yeah.
I don't think I can perform, is what I
Really?
have figured out. Yeah, I think
Oh, I
that's
know
just
we
what's
spoke
going
about
on.
this a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
bit of performance anxiety.
Thanks.
Sorry. Sore subject. Um,
Yeah,
do you
unless
not
I'm
want to talk
bottom
about
in. No, 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 we can keep going. It's fine.
that? Unless you're bottoming. Yeah, I'm definitely the opposite. Like, but I also
Okay.
feel like I have to be not necessarily hard. Like, I'm not saying the bottoms have to be hard, but I don't think I really enjoy it unless I'm hard. Because if I'm enjoying it, I'm hard all the time. You know, like I know there's like the jury's out on that. I feel like some people say that bottoms don't need to be hard all the time, which is fine if that's who you are. But I personally, if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not hard. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not hard. Yeah,
Have you
if I'm
never
enjoying
in
it, gone.
really? Have you never enjoyed it when you're not hurt?
I don't think so. I think that maybe I do enjoy it, but like I feel like bottoming's so intimate that I really need to like
Mm,
trust the person and get to know them
there's
and
like
not
that
be
second
worried about
layer.
anything. I feel like it's very like vulnerable. Whereas I feel like topping's not
Y-
that vulnerable. You're just like, doing your thing.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite different.
But
Mm, okay.
but like I don't worry about staying hard and stuff like that. I feel like I used to be like that. And I used to think it was
Mhm.
like I used to think it was me and I'm the issue, and like I used to think, well, like why, I used to say to myself, I think these guys are really hot, but why am I not staying hard? And I think it's just
Right.
because I wasn't into it. Like I wasn't into the guy. We had all this expectation. I remember one guy, he was coming over, and I was gonna like do some things. Um, and he got there and he was really nervous. And I was like, if you're nervous, like I'm gonna be nervous. And then he was like, have you got any alcohol? I want to drink some alcohol. And I was like, hang on. I was like, no, no, no. Like you need to go. I was like, I not saying that like I don't mind someone being a bit shy, but I think if you're
Right.
giving all this chat,
Hmm.
and you're making it like you're really confident, and you get there and you're like shitting yourself, and you're like you need some alcohol to like calm yourself. I'm like, whoa, like maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have come. I don't know. Maybe that sounds a bit bitchy, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
In other words, you're just too hot for the average
I'm,
people.
I'm not. I don't. You think I'm hot? I am not. But I do appreciate all the vibes. So thank you. I wouldn't do that anymore. I wouldn't. I wouldn't meet it with someone that fast. And if they were that nervous and they needed a drink, I just think it was London. I feel like when I lived in London, you get all sorts of people. I don't think it's the same in
Yeah.
Wales. I feel like people are not like that. I feel like London, you get everything. In Wales, you don't. You get
Mm.
not that. So I don't know.
Do you miss London? Do you miss London?
No, to be honest,
Really?
I feel like London is really fun, obviously.
Yeah.
But the jobs I was doing and like the reason I moved there was not. It was not. I didn't have like the resources to actually like use the London life. I wasn't. And I think of the London life. I think like, work Monday to Friday. You go out on the weekends. You go out every evening. Blah 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 blah. I was always too tired for that, and I never had enough money for it. So yeah, I don't think it was my vibe. I think London like can be very lonely. I think that some people make it and that's lush, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like it can be quite lonely and people are very isolated. 'Cause, like, I feel like London
Yeah.
friendships, it's like, "Huh, I'll see you in 2 months." It's like, 2 months? Whereas at home, I see my friends every week. So, it's just different pace, you know? But some people love that, so good for them.
Yeah, yeah. I
Do you
I
love
kind of
it?
agree with that.
I feel like you love it
I
probably.
I love the city life, but I do agree
Mm,
some of the things that you have said, it can get a little bit lonely, but, like, it's more lonely if someone who is not originally from London or haven't have, base friends of London,
mm, that's true.
trying yeah, like, foreign person coming to London would be, you have to take more the initiative to try to meet up with people, and
Mm,
people already have their groups,
yeah.
so it's hard
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
mesh, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's where I found that, like, because I wasn't from London originally as well. I had no friends in London when I moved there. And like you said, I feel like everyone who lives in London just seems to have all their friends. Like, I'm like, I don't know how they did it, but I think you're quite social though. Like you'll just check yourself out there. Like, whereas I'm not necessarily that bold. I will not check myself out there as much as you.
I try.
Yeah, you're a
Or
good egg.
I'm
You're
not
a good egg.
I'm gonna be not be able to make any friends if I don't try. I need to
It's
make the
true.
most
It's
of it.
true. It's true.
Yeah. I do wanna ask you about your current dating life. What is
Oh gosh.
happening now?
What is happening? Oh, my headphones fell out. What is happening? So I go through phases of being
Mhm.
like really into it, really excited, and wanting to go on dates, and then I'll like peak at that, and then I'll just be like, oh, this is all pointless, this is all not worth it, all the guys are the same, blah blah blah, and then I'll delete all the apps, and then I'll go back on the apps. So I go in like these phases of these things. Um, but I think that I don't know, maybe I put too much expectations on these things. Um, so at the moment, I'm dating. I went on one date a few weeks ago, which wasn't my vibe. So yeah, I messaged him afterwards, just saying not really looking for something serious right now. I just don't think I'm looking for something serious. I think I'd be open to it if it came along with the right person, but I think that I've just got so much going on. Like, I want to get a house this year. I'm applying for my nursing and all of that. So I feel like there's just a lot going on that I don't know if I could, even if I'd love a relationship, I don't know if I could have the time to commit to that right now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Sounds like you have, like, a lot going on already. So, like, sometimes being in a relationship or even dating just takes
Yeah,
so much out of you that, you have to think about money, you have to think about the time, and you have to think about the energy that you're gonna have to spend with that person, and
exactly.
the effort that you want to be able to put into a relationship, kind of requires a lot of your attention. So when there is
Yeah.
other stuff on your plate, such as, you're currently doing nursing and you have other goals going on, though those can kind of be a distraction in a way,
Mm.
at least in my perspective, you know?
Yeah. I feel like with my job as well, I work quite a lot of weekends and most people work Monday to Friday. So
Mhm.
they'll be like, "Oh, when can we meet up?" And I'll be like, "Well, I'm busy this weekend because I'm working." And then I'll be like, "Can you do Monday night?" And they're like, "No." And I feel like with dating, if you don't kind of strike hot, if you don't meet them quite soon, like if I said, "Oh, let's meet in 2 weeks," no way,
Yes.
it won't happen. Like it's too long, and I feel like people will find something new and shiny. I feel like you can't prolong a meet. I feel like you need to do it soon, or it doesn't happen at all.
That's fair. I think I agree with that. Why do you think that is?
Um, I just think it's because people will think someone's not serious, and like, we've all had it where someone says, "Oh, I'm not free this week. I'm busy. I'm working," and then say, "Okay, let's meet next week," and then they say, "Oh, I'm ill," and stuff does like that does happen. But I think that if you're really interested in someone, you try and make it happen fast. And I know life
Mhm.
happens and stuff, but where there's
Yeah.
a will, there's a way, isn't it? Even if it's like a phone call or something like that, there's something that's like a I don't know, telephone date or something like that. I just think if you're like, oh, I'm busy this week and I haven't got like it's like you haven't got any time. You haven't got any time, really. Um,
Not even a
but
FaceTime.
I know, right? But I think each their own. So I'm not sure. I think that people just like it fast, or it doesn't happen at all.
Mm.
But I think
Okay.
especially
Yeah. Tell me one of like your best dates that you've ever had
ugh,
since your
um,
breakup.
best dates. Um, well, I had a really good one, but then the guy turned out to be a narcissist. So I'm not even going to mention that. Uh,
Okay. Let's not give him credit.
mm, I feel like I haven't been on that many dates that have been quite formal. I feel like I've just gone for like walks and stuff. I did go on one date though, which was really nice. I mean, it didn't really work out in the end, but we went to the Celtic Manor, which you'll have no idea what that is, but it's like this lovely like hotel in South Wales. It's a
Okay.
really, really nice, like 5-star, blah blah blah.
Oh.
We went there for a drink, and I went there after work, which is like so unlike me because I finished at like 8 o'clock, and I went home and showered and quickly went there. And we were there until like for like hours, and it was really, yeah, it was really good vibes. It was like really romantic, which I feel like is like different. I feel like guys around here wouldn't do that sort of stuff, but we both got into like suits. We were like really dressed up, really nice.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but it didn't go past the second date, unfortunately. But I think it was for the best, to be honest. What about you? What
Mm.
nice dates have you been on?
Um, well, there was this one date that I think I've told you before, but I haven't mentioned it here. And it was this one date that it was supposed to just be one date, but it turned out to be a three date combined into one. I was I was still in Oxford back then, and I went to London for an interview. And after my interview, I met up with him, and then we went for noodles together. Um, and then, we were chatting and vibing, and it was really nice. And after noodles, I figured that, hey, like, he likes animals and fishes and stuff. So maybe we can go to the aquarium. So we went to the aquarium. Highly tourist trap, do not recommend. Way too expensive, but it was a very, very, very good date. It was very like flirtatious, very flirty. I think it was because the fact that we mentioned that it was going to be a date, it allowed us to have a different type of communication instead of like sitting down interviewing each other and asking about things. Like
Mm,
we were doing activities, and I think that kind of created a lot of momentum during that day. After the aquarium, we decided to go get desserts, and then we weren't sick of each other that day. So like we just kept going. After desserts, we waited to get tickets to go into the Barbican Center, um,
mm,
where they have like the free indoor rainforesty place, right?
yeah.
So waited a couple hours, got tickets, went over there, saw the Barbican Center, the gardens, and then we sat outside of Barbican Center for a couple hours and just chatted again. Like the entire thing in total was like 8 hours at least. So that's basically three dates in one. And we still chat, but I don't know if anything will flourish from that. But overall, that is like one of the best dates I've ever had. I think it was just because we were both kind of on the same page on what the date is, and we're saying that it's a date. And some people think date is just like hanging out, but for me, it's more a little bit more flirty, a little bit more physical communication as well. Like, it was really, really cute, really, really, yeah, I don't know, it just gives me smiles when I think about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cute. I don't think I've,
Well,
unfortunately,
I
but
will I will
it will come.
recommend I will recommend doing activities instead of going for a coffee or something, because
Mm, that's true.
the activity makes it quite stimulating in terms of just
Mm,
hanging out with the person.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Well, I think that's it, all the time that we have. Thank you so much for coming onto the pod. I hope you are willing to come back on one day if I didn't scare you away. Did you have
Thank you
fun?
for inviting me. I don't think I'm that interesting for a podcast, but who knows? Maybe people will love it. I'm not sure.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend and consider leaving a Slice of Anecdote a full points review. Your support truly means the world.
Catch you on the next episode. Bye.